Howdy, Tallahassee. This is Nikki Kanakis, student meteorologist, bringing you your Wednesday edition of FSU weather. Right now, the sun is blazing over Doak Campbell right now. It is 85 degrees. It has been an absolutely gorgeous day. We have a little bit of a breeze, so if you're not the biggest fan of the hotter weather, you can have a little time in the shade, cool down a little bit. As I said, 85 degrees here. A little bit of a cooler spot down in Apalachicola at 77 degrees, but for most of the Big Bend region, we are staying in the low to mid 80s. Going into our radar, it has just been a beautifully clear day, no rain in sight on our radar, so it has just been a great time to get outside. I drove to the grocery store with my windows down and I had an excellent time. But for tonight, there is some heat in the southeast with temps reaching the upper 80s, and the central U.S. is going to be the culprit for some severe weather this week, and we will be debunking some weather myths. All that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Once again, welcome into the Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Evan Regan. We do have quite a jam-packed show for you this evening, and we'll start off with what we have going on in Tallahassee. It was a scorcher out there today. We got up to 87 at Tallahassee International, so above our average. The good news is that it's not all that humid outside, so we get a break from that at least. But we also have a couple more things on our show tonight. We have, of course, we are in severe weather season, so we have a lot of that to track for you. And we're also going to be debunking some of these weather myths I have in my hand here. I'm not going to give anything away just yet, but we do have some fun myths in store for us to bust for you. But I'm going to throw things over to the wall with Joy, and she's going to give us our first look locally around Tallahassee.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Tallahassee, where the sun is absolutely burning bright here over Doak Campbell Stadium. It is a gorgeous day, as Nikki mentioned, not too humid, and 85 degrees. It is really feeling summer here in Tallahassee, and we can kind of see that over Doak Campbell Stadium there are no clouds. The entire Big Bend region over here is also experiencing the same thing. Not a single cloud in sight, so it is a lovely day to go outside, maybe go kayaking or go swimming and have fun with your friends, and the temperature is just perfect for that. If you want to travel across the Big Bend region, we are seeing mid to low 80s here in 85 in Tallahassee, but we have a cool spot down 77 in Apalachicola. So again, go outside and take advantage of such beautiful weather after experiencing all of those storms that we were dealing with earlier. And with our high 7 degrees, it is pretty toasty, above our average, and our record was 92 degrees in 1942. That is really hot, but we were pretty close to it, but at least we didn't reach our record low of 33 degrees. That is absolutely frigid, in my opinion. And as I mentioned, it wasn't really humid today, and you can see that throughout the entire region over here. 44 in Tallahassee, so make sure you're wearing chapstick in case it's a little bit too dry for you. And as I mentioned that we have no clouds in sight today, it's going to stay like this for the rest of the next couple of days. Again, not really any clouds in sight. They may pop up once in a while, but not much going on overall after that. And tonight, we will still not really see any clouds in sight, and a temperature of 56 degrees. It is a nice, cool night to go outside, walk your dog, or maybe go outside and have a picnic. Why not? It's nice and cool, and the entire Big Bend region, once again, is going to experience the same type of deal that Tallahassee is as well. 57 is pretty chilly in this area, where it's 62 in St. Mark's in the evening, and 66 in Carabel as kind of our warm spot in this area. But tomorrow we will be experiencing around the same type of conditions that we were today. 88 degrees and sunny, pretty toasty. It's kind of starting to feel like summer, although it is spring here still in Tallahassee. And the Big Bend region is experiencing, once again, the same exact thing. 88 degrees in Tallahassee, and you can see the number 88 and 89 popping around our screen here. So it's going to be quite a toasty day for everyone tomorrow. And we're going to start to see our temperatures decrease a little bit after we have a cold front pass through our area on Saturday. And into Sunday, our temperatures will still decrease a little bit, but we're still seeing those low to mid 80s for the rest of the week, and even more rain on Tuesday and Wednesday, meaning that upcoming finals week could be seeing a lot of rain, so make sure you bring your umbrella, especially on Saturday. And we're going to look at the rest of the Florida with Josh.
Thanks, Joy. So as you look at Florida right now, we're currently going to be hanging around the upper 70s, low 80s, a hot spot in Tampa at 84. Now, as we go to our current dew points, we're mainly going to be moist around most of the entire state, although here in Tallahassee, we're actually going to be a little drier. So if you're here, make sure to follow Joyce's advice and take some chapstick if you need it. Now, as we go to our radar, we're going to be monitoring these same patterns, and right now, we're not seeing anything go across the state, nothing to be concerned about, so it's a beautiful time to get outside, go enjoy the sunsets, and especially for me, because I love sunsets. And then as you zoom back into Tallahassee, we're just going to be seeing the same thing essentially, which will set us up for a beautiful night, especially not just for sunsets as well, but for stargazing. Downtown, it looks beautiful. We're currently at 85. We're actually very sunny with a small thing to be worried about, so you won't have to keep your hats on from any strong winds. For our radar in North Florida, we will be seeing some clouds, but it's nothing super strong. So again, nothing. It's just a beautiful night. Go outside, enjoy yourselves, go to the pool if you want to, especially go to an outdoor pool. I love them. Now, Salt Springs in Marion County, we're going to be actually hanging around 82 degrees, partly cloudy. It's going to be some winds, but nothing super severe. And it's partly cloudy right now, as we see, with the sun being blocked by the clouds. But as I say, it's a beautiful night as always. South Florida, we're going to be seeing some clouds coming through from the west, but just nothing super severe, as I've been mentioning. In Miami-Dade, that's a beautiful place. And hi to my parents and family that's down in Miami. It's 77, partly cloudy, perfect time to go outside, hit the beach if you really want to before sunset. And for our rainfall, we're going to be expecting some rain down here in West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. So make sure you take note of that, especially in Fort Lauderdale, as they are still recovering from that flooding. And for tonight in Florida, it's going to be mainly low 50s, low 60s, upper 50s North Florida, and we'll be seeing some rain in West Palm Beach as well as low 70s. So for tomorrow, expect some sunny conditions all across the state except for here in West Palm Beach. And as I say, probably in Fort Lauderdale, you'll be expecting some rain as well. So be on the lookout, especially in those areas as they are recovering from flooding, as I mentioned earlier. And finally, if you're going to go outside here in Tallahassee, make sure to wear some sunblock and stay hydrated, stay shaded, sunblock. Now, passing this off to Evan to show us some severe weather.
Yeah, Josh, we are in severe weather season after all, so of course we do have that severe weather to track in the southeastern United States and actually starting in the Central Plains for today. Here is our setup, and it looks maybe look a little complicated, but I'm going to break it all down for you here. So this bright shading here, that's where we have our most instability for today. And you might wonder, well, why is this yellow area where we're expecting storms not extending down towards the south? It's because we don't have any forcing for ascent in those areas, so there's nothing to lift that instability and get those storms firing. But this area is where we can expect that to happen today. Down towards the south, a little more uncertain, but I'll get to that more later. But this is the system that's really driving the severe weather threat for today. And this is why the Storm Prediction Center is highlighting these two areas for today for where we could see those severe storms to start firing up. And we actually do have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for places just south of Omaha, Nebraska, extending into far northern Kansas as well. And the reason why this area is a little more uncertain, we don't have quite favorable conditions there. We do have that instability, but we don't have as much lifting in those areas. So that's why we might not see too many storms in these areas because those storms need to break through that cap. There's a rather large cap in place here in Oklahoma, so that's why we're a little bit more uncertain in that area. But the main threat for today for this enhanced risk is that threat for very large hail, potentially up to 3 inches in diameter. So that's, I believe, larger than softball size. So imagine that falling from the sky and banging into your head. So you don't want to be outside today in these areas because there could be some very large hail in some places as well. Damaging winds are also another threat with this as well. So as this sags down towards the south and east, you can see those storms start to fire, and this is where we get our zone for tomorrow. A cycle of storms here for severe weather. We are in severe weather season, so we're going to have a rinse and repeat. We have another area to watch for storms where we get that forcing for ascent and we also have that instability, and that's why we're highlighted this area for level 2 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center for a slight risk for tomorrow afternoon. And this includes places for Dallas-Fort Worth extending all the way up to St. Louis, Missouri here. Again, large hail and damaging winds are going to be the main threats with these. Not as high as today, of course, on that large hail risk. We could see hail up to 1 inch in diameter. The largest hail could be down here near the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we're going to need to watch that carefully as the day progresses. And you can see that, that evolution of that line as it goes into Thursday afternoon, or Friday afternoon, I should say. And you can see how that threat extends further down towards southern Texas, where San Antonio and Houston are for Friday afternoon. You can see how those storms start to weaken as they lose some of that instability as they move further to the east. But this is where we could see those storms for Friday afternoon going into day 3. That's going to be Friday afternoon. So Houston, San Antonio, over towards Baton Rouge, that's where you could see those storms start to fire up there. You can see that again on the future radar. Those storms start to blossom here in Texas as we go into Friday morning. So we're going to have to be careful of that. Of course, we are in severe weather season, so stay prepared to have that no weather radio on hand. If not, have that cell phone on hand to get those weather alerts to you. But now I'm going to pass things off to Elizabeth, I believe. Yes, and she's going to take a look at the southeast more closely.
Yes, so we are going to see that severe threat move into the southeast area. However, right now it's looking pretty nice on our southeast cameras right now. It's looking beautiful in South Carolina, in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are seeing some clouds in Tampa, but nothing to be concerned about as far as rain goes, and the same in New Orleans. It's looking very nice there. Basically, very hot across the board for the southeast region. We're sitting in the middle 80s and upper 70s for the majority of our state of Florida, and we're seeing actually some warmer temperatures as we go north. It is 84 in Montgomery right now, 78 in New Orleans, and 84 in Nashville, and we're sitting at 83 in Atlanta, Charleston, and Charlotte right now, so very warm across the board. And we are sitting pretty wet, at least for the state of Florida and for the western portion of the southeast region. It is pretty dry for this central part in areas like Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, but when we see that front move through, we'll see things get a little bit more humid, and I will talk about that a little bit later on. And here is the temperature anomalies, which is basically saying how far the current temperature is from our average temperature. So we are sitting 11 degrees above average in Atlanta, Georgia, and Charlotte, and we're sitting actually pretty cooler in South Florida, wrong way, it's right there, because of all that rain that they have been seeing, but we are slowly warming up down there as well. For our radar right now, though, we aren't seeing anything that is impacting the southeast right now. We have some showers off of the east coast of Florida there, but again, no real threat to land at all. But as we get into tomorrow and Friday, we are going to see that that line of severe storms move through the area, and by about this time on Friday, we'll see the majority of our threat over in Memphis right here, and in eastern Arkansas, I'm sorry, and Mississippi right there, so be sure to keep a lookout on that. And for the southeast, we are going to be seeing a lot of rain for the majority of the region, which actually the state of Florida really needs it right now, but the most that we'll be seeing will be in Arkansas right there. For tonight, we are going to see middle 50s for the majority of the region, and for tomorrow, we're sitting very hot once again in the 80s for the majority. Now, there are some things that people think about weather that might not be true, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth, there are plenty of myths out there that are weather-related that people may think are true, but we're going to go through some of those right now and bust those for you.
Absolutely. And the first one that we are going to start off with before we even get into our things, we're going to be talking about heat lightning. I think is one of the most important things, because I always hear people chatting about heat lightning, but that is in fact a myth, and we will go into more depth about that and talking about nuking a hurricane.
Yeah, heat lightning, nuking a hurricane, what in the world is going on here? There's so many examples of weather myths that could actually have no actual factual anything behind it in science. So the first one is heat lightning. So is that a real thing? No.
Absolutely not. And so If you didn't know, when you see lightning and you hear thunder, that means that the thunderstorm is close by. However, if you don't hear thunder, that just means that lightning is far away. Especially at night, you're able to see lightning a lot clearer because it's dark. But if you're not hearing thunder, that just means it's in a storm that's pretty far away, and you can only really hear thunder if you are 10 miles within from the lightning strike. So heat lightning is not a real thing.
Right. So that's why we always say, if you hear thunder, go indoors. Thunder roars, go indoors. But the other one is, will nuking a hurricane weaken? Absolutely not. It's thought that this would actually disrupt the path and intensity of hurricanes, but the explosions would not be powerful enough. It would only disrupt this pressure for a split second. It wouldn't really do anything at all. And that's just because the hurricanes have so much energy associated with them, so you would need a very, very powerful nuclear bomb to even remotely do anything close to affecting a hurricane. And the other aspect with this is that if you do try to nuke a hurricane, that fallout would spread tremendously because of that.
Of course. And something that is really common is people don't put sunblock on when it is cloudy. However, you can get sunburnt when there are clouds in the sky. Yes, some clouds may absorb some UV rays, but the USDA does say that around 80% of UV rays can still be felt on your skin even through clouds. So make sure you wear your sunscreen and check the UV index, because you definitely can get sunburnt through clouds.
Yeah, I know from experience you can get sunburned any day. The last one we want to do real quick is, can an overpass, especially from a tornado? No, it actually creates a wind tunnel where the winds accelerate through that tunnel, and it can also channel debris that flies through that overpass and really can cause a threat to you and anyone in that car. So we're going to pass things back over to the wall real quick with Oceana.
Thanks, Joy and Evan, for those really interesting facts. I personally did not know about the heat lightning one, and I'm from the beach, so seeing heat lightning a lot, it was really good to know that that is not actually heat lightning, and that is a storm. So looking at our dew points, we are looking really dry over here on the west coast, and we're looking really dry here in Tallahassee as well, 44, sitting really warm today. However, we are not feeling as muggy, luckily. Some anomalies to point out, some differences in today than usual. Here in Chicago, 26 degrees above usual, while over here in Billings, Montana, 22 below average. These are some really interesting things to point out. Now, as for our surface pressure map, looking into this low pressure system pulling in here, that's going to bring a lot of rain in the next few days to the Midwest. Behind it is some high pressure up here in the western area of the United States, but down again up here, another low pressure system pushing up, bringing more rain into the upper United States. But luckily here in Tallahassee and at the bottom of the United States, we are looking at some really high pressure and good weather. Anywhere between Dallas and Omaha, Nebraska, we are going to see some fire warnings as of right now from these extreme drought conditions. However, we are going to see that low pressure system push in, hopefully monitoring that, and going to bring some rain to this much needed area over here. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington, pretty rainy usually, but all we've got is some showers around this area. In the northeast of the United States, really nothing to look out for. Michigan, some rain going through, and in Green Bay, but overall, we're looking really clear in the northeast. For Boston College right now, it is looking really nice. 50 degrees, cloudy, with a slight wind at 14 miles per hour. Just a nice cloudy day here, really nice temperatures as well. Luckily, here in Tallahassee, that rain has finally pushed through. That low pressure system from last week has finally made its way through, and we are seeing that high pressure, that beautiful, beautiful sunny day that we had today and yesterday. Here in Miramar Beach, sunny, 76. These are ultimate beach temperatures, in my opinion, coming from Naples, Florida, really beach town. If you are in Miramar Beach, definitely hit the beach. It is beautiful there. And in the western United States, really not too much rain on the radar yet. That high pressure system has stuck around a little bit over here, but up here is when we are going to see those severe weather happen, as Evan was talking about earlier. For Las Vegas, again, really sunny in the Midwest, or the western of the United States. 68, mostly sunny, really mild temperatures over here in Las Vegas. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Now, for FSU students in Tallahassee, 6 to 10 days from now, that's finals week. So that's definitely something to look out for when it comes to precipitation. It is going to be pretty rainy in 6 to 10 days from now, but as far as the other part of the United States, all the way over here in the western portion, we are looking really below average as far as precipitation. But if you are on this part of the United States over here on the east, definitely look for some above temperatures in your area, or above precipitation in your area. Rainfall in Tallahassee and all across the area will come a little bit throughout this week with those low pressure systems coming through. But as far as temperatures, we're sitting very warm over here in the eastern United States, and we are looking very nice temperatures on the west. I'm going to pass it over to Nikki for some lifestyle.
Thank you so much. There's a lot going on around the country, but we're going to bring it right back to Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. Panama City has a bright sun over the beach. What a great day if you wanted to do some tanning. The Sportsplex is also looking good for some football games tonight. St. George Island has a beautiful view of the sky over the water, and so does Lake Bradford if you went to the res today. If you are traveling out of Tallahassee right now, it is clear, no delays. As we've been saying the whole show, it was an absolutely gorgeous day today, 85 degrees, and people moving out of the country as well should also have no problems. There were some problems earlier in the Denver area, I believe, but it seems to have resolved itself, so that's very good for those traveling around the country. And for pollen, I know it's still pollen season, so if you have a grass allergy, make sure you take that Claritin before you leave in the morning. Now, my favorite part of the forecast, the dog walk forecast. This is a picture of my beautiful dog, Gabby, at the Dunedin Causeway. It is going to be a great morning to walk your dog. If you like it a little bit cooler, you should definitely go before the sun comes up, but as the sun starts to peek out, it's definitely going to get progressively warmer tomorrow. But Floridians, we love that kind of stuff. And if we're going to be stargazing tonight, it should be fair conditions. There might be some fog tonight, so if you like looking at the stars, just make sure that you are aware of that if you go out somewhere like Alligator Point or something like that. Softball is playing at Virginia Tech tomorrow at 7. It should be just a great day. Make sure you're putting on some sunscreen and drinking some water if you're going to be out in the sun, because you don't want to get dehydrated, especially in a stadium like that. And FSU baseball is going to be at UNF. It's also going to be sunny and hot. So again, make sure you're wearing your sunscreen and drinking your water. The Flying High Circus is having its closing weekend as well. Make sure you go on Friday at 7 or Saturday at 2 and 8. I'll be there on Saturday selling merchandise. It is going to be hot. Make sure that you check it out. There are some really talented performers in the circus, and it's going to be a beautiful day. What a great way to spend your weekend. If you're going to the beach, again, just absolutely awesome outside, 72 degrees, and especially with that sun out, it probably feels a little bit warmer than that, and there's a little bit of a breeze. So I would say it's definitely a good day to do that. And if you want to take a little walk on the beach in the morning, it might be a little chilly, but again, as the sun comes out, it's going to get just ideal conditions. Shout out to the Coriolis Sports, our AMS football team that's going to be playing at the Sportsplex tonight. It should be just an amazing night to do so. 63 degrees. Maybe if you're going to be a spectator like myself, you should put a little jacket on if you don't like the cold, but it should be, again, an amazing day to go out. But looking into the weekend, it is still going to be pretty warm, and there might be a little bit of chance of rain on Saturday, but the temperatures will be amazing. Now I'm going to give it back to Josh to give us one last look at the local.
Thanks, Nikki. So as we bring all home to Doak Campbell, we are seeing this beautiful sun getting ready to set and give us our signature sunset with these exquisite colors. We're at 85 degrees, sunny outside. Make sure, as Joy has mentioned, wear that sunscreen if you're planning to go out. Now, as you take a look at our radar, we're mainly seeing clear skies and nothing to worry about, especially for tonight. If you're going to go outside to go watch the sunset, go out with friends, go stargazing, it'll be perfect weather to do all of that. Currently, we're at 85 in Tallahassee. We're going to be mainly staying in the low to upper 80s, although we do have a cold spot here at 77 in Apalachicola. And for our temperature almanac, we're going to be at, today we reached 87, which was closer to our record of 92, but we haven't quite made it there yet. And for our low, while we're not too far off from our average, we're slightly lower though, but nowhere near as low as our record in 2001. And currently we are experiencing some dry dew points. And while it's great for us tomorrow, if you're going to be outside and be walking around where you won't have to deal with that humidity. You might need some chapstick, sorry, if you are sensitive to dry humidity. And for our future, we're going to see that class in sight as of tomorrow, and we will see some slight clouds in the eastern parts of our area, but nothing to be worried about, as it will set us up for some beautiful weather, especially some weather that will be so great that you want to go outside for sure and just to enjoy it. And tonight we'll be experiencing clear skies for the most part, and we'll be at 56 degrees. So if you're like me who needs a jacket, I definitely recommend taking one, just a light one though. You won't need like a heavy coat. And tonight we'll also see mid to upper 50s in the area, low 60s around the coast. And for tomorrow, we'll be experiencing sunny conditions. We'll be reaching 88, so we'll be starting to make our way up to 90, and we should be expecting that soon, as this is April and we will be approaching summer very, very soon. So as I said earlier, make sure you wear that sunblock. Make sure just to go outside, enjoy the weather, go to the pool, go to the beach, do whatever you want to do. And finally for tomorrow, we'll be hanging around the mid to upper 80s, especially 88 in Tallahassee, 88 in Monticello as the hot spots, 89 up in Bainbridge. Now we'll be also experiencing some low spots as well, thanks to the sea breeze, such as Apalachicola and Carabel, both at 79. So make sure if you're going to go outside to drink some water, stay shaded, stay hydrated, sunblock, and just take care of yourself and just enjoy the weather. And now we're going to bring it on home to Elizabeth to close out the show.
Thank you so much, Josh. Yes, it is super important to make sure that you are taking care of yourself during these hot weather conditions, because if you get sunburn, that hurts. If you get dehydrated, then you don't feel good. So make sure that you are drinking your water, wearing your sunscreen, staying indoors if you have to, if you are sensitive to sun, because that is not good for you when that happens. And because of these warm temperatures, we are seeing lots more storms pop up, as we were discussing before. So make sure that you do have your severe weather plans with your family. Make sure that you know where to go, like in case of an emergency, in case of a possibly tornado, high winds, and flooding. And make sure that you have easy access to your local weather, like on your phone. In the case that you lose power, a weather radio is always great to have. And make sure that you're following us on Twitter at FSU Weather, and then also like us on Facebook. We are FSU Weather on there too. And make sure that you watch us live every weekday. Actually, this is our last full week. Yeah, that's so sad. And make sure to follow us on Instagram as well at FSU Weather. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to pass it off to the wall for one last look at our 7-day.
Elizabeth, yeah, just some things to point out real quick. Thursday and Friday we're looking warm, but on Saturday is our shower threat, and throughout the week we will see some rain over here, not too much of low temperatures or anything, but definitely look out. I'm Oceana Hayden, student meteorologist. Have a good night.